Okay. Welcome again to my Lego Star Wars playthrough, episode 3. Yeah. So I know there's been a couple of days, or like there might be a couple of days in between each upload. I don't know. I mean, I don't really see any point in stressing with it. I just have to. I honestly have to just take it when the time is right, when I got the time. Should we see if there's any interesting? Yeah, there's not. Ah, this guy, huh? Okay, so I suppose we'll just continue on. Okay, so it's yeah, escape from retake Field Palace, of course. Okay. Wow. It's just so unbelievably short, this game. And look, is that the whole... That's the whole fight. It's funny. That small shield. Huh. I don't know if I really thought about this before. Obviously, this being the kind of the huge fight at the end of episode 1. That's all of them. It's just crazy how kind of quickly things escalate in these cutscenes. I bet there's something up here, isn't there? Oh, I hope there's a, yeah. Honestly, I don't know. I think these. I always thought these levels were kind of my least favorites, but like the Naboo levels. But I don't know. They're decent, I suppose. Come on, let's spam X. don't know. I mean, they're not so bad. But that's actually only yesterday I thought I could mention I was watching this video of a guy kind of ranking the top 10 Lego games you should play, right? Obviously it's personal opinion, but I wrote this essay almost just, you know, in why I disagreed with and stuff, just yeah. But one thing I've always kind of thought about is you know, it's kind of making ideally like a 30-hour game, like maybe a bit less, but you know, or like, okay, not 30 hours, that's let's say 10 hours, making a kind of 10-hour long campaign, or like a story based of, okay, not 10 hours, but you get my point. Making can I not? Come on. What was I about to say? Well, making a game that's like, I don't know, 6 hours or whatever, right? Based off a movie that's kind of maybe 2 hours. That's always going to be kind of tricky, I suppose, or like, obviously you have to kind of fill in stuff, and that's obviously what happens to a large degree in Lego Star Wars. Obviously, like this place, I don't know, I don't think I've ever seen it in the movies, right? So they obviously just have to kind of create these scenarios or improvise, and yeah. Fit in stuff that isn't already, you know, there. Damn it. Is there something? No. But I think generally, generally the games do a fair job at this. Are you guys coming up here or not? But it was kind of interesting. Obviously, as I mentioned, I wrote kind of a lengthy reply. Basically, where I said that I think, can I get him to kind of? Is that so hard? Oh, come on. Oh, damn it, screw it. A lengthy kind of answer where I mentioned that I think the kind of the first Lego games, which like Star Wars, Indiana Jones. I know there was a couple of like Lego Island and Lego Racer and stuff like that, but the first like proper I'd say are like Lego video games, at least with this kind of formula. I think the first ones are probably better because they follow a specific story, and that alone makes it more interesting, I think, at least to a degree. I mean, I think free roam can be fun in some extent, but mostly as kind of a change of pace, a break from kind of the story. One, I'd say, pretty bad example of this is Force Awakens. I bought it and finished it. I bought it a long time ago and finished it 100%. And I think the reason I like disagree so like on a kind of principle level with that game, in how it kind of, because it only based the game on one movie. They obviously had to kind of, obviously they couldn't just have 6 like standard levels that many of the other movies have, right? Every movie in this game has 6 levels or 5. In Indiana Jones it's the same. And obviously they could just have 6 levels in the game, so what they did was kind of create a bunch of like a buttload of kind of small side quests and like super repetitive small kind of missions in the hub. Obviously there were these, a lot of these kind of hubs, right? Starkiller Base, Dakar. So they have probably, like, I kid you not, probably 30 of these side quests in each kind of hub, and they were beyond repetitive, many of them. And I just think it's so stupid. But that comes more down to, I think, to Disney milking Star Wars, and that's kind of another debate, I suppose. But that's just so that's basically the only kind of newer Lego game I've played. So all the Star Wars games, including Clone Wars and Force Awakens, Harry Potter, both Indiana Jones, the original Batman, Pirates of the Caribbean, and yeah, I think that's about it. And I mean Lego Worlds, but that's kind of a different thing. Yeah. What was I saying again? Yeah, I've like only within those games, even I noticed an increase in kind of free roam focus, or like exploration hub focus. I'm pretty sure Lego Indiana Jones 2 was the first game to kind of implement kind of a hub to kind of a larger degree. Obviously, Lego Star Wars, both games had a hub, but it was quite small, and there wasn't really anything to do. Like, you had these bounty hunter missions, and but other than that, there wasn't really a lot to do in these. There wasn't really a lot to do in those games. And I remember I actually fairly enjoyed like the way Lego Indiana Jones 2 did it. With, you had like lots of collectibles, or not lots of, but you had kind of collectibles, and I'd say you had kind of a balanced, or like a fair amount of stuff to do in the hub, but it wasn't like 60% of the game or anything, right? But I definitely think it's an enjoyable part. I think Lego games has to be kind of based on this incredible story-driven universe with deep characters, and like, it doesn't have to follow a story like super strictly, if that makes sense. Like, I think exploring Hogwarts is pretty fun. Yeah. But I also think, at least to me, one of the reasons I've always enjoyed Lego Star Wars so much is because it's kind of a universe with, well, firstly it's a universe with a lot of different kind of locations and unique places, which is a good kind of foundation for great, unique and kind of varied levels. Okay. I definitely think the levels are a very strong aspect of this game. Oh, damn it. A lot of interesting locations, and it gives a lot of variation to the levels, and yeah. But also it's kind of a story that I already kind of know and love, and I think for that reason it's kind of easier to follow and to engage in. I think that's probably something that older audiences are going to care more about. Not just kind of messing about for fun. I mean, obviously that can be enjoyable too, but yeah. Do I really have to? Oh, God. Oh wait, what? Can you? Isn't he supposed to do this by himself? Oh, no. But yeah, like compared to even though I haven't really, as I mentioned, I've only played The Force Awakens from kind of the newer games. So talking about like all the Marvel, like Lego superhero games, it's only based on my impressions really, on what I've seen, but to me they seem much more like generic and kind of uninspired. I think it's understandable why they would also kind of not necessarily deviate from the level kind of formula of the game, but I think it kind of makes sense why they would implement more hub-based kind of gameplay. Because either whether these games are actually based off the Marvel movies or the new movies, I think those movies, I don't know, they've got more generic, uninteresting stories in my opinion, and they might be, I suppose, kind of harder to make into kind of unique levels, if that makes sense. I mean, I don't know though, I haven't really seen too many of those movies either. But that's just kind of my impression. Oh wow. That's a lot. Yay. But I suppose it might just because obviously also I've never really been very interested in that universe. I think Star Wars and Indiana Jones is more interesting. Yeah. Yeah. Also, I think it's my impression, at least, that those many of those games, the setting of many of those movies, or like games based on movies, I suppose, like they take place in more like normal settings, I suppose, like a normal kind of city or something, which also I don't find as interesting, I suppose. I really need to finish up this level. Wow. Okay. What? Yeah. I do think they can be enjoyable, and just I don't know, I think I prefer this. I suppose it depends in a way on like what I feel like doing. I think kind of a hub based like Force Awakens, I mean it is kind of relaxing, like chill, so it's not just bad. I just don't think it's like of the same quality as this game. Okay, I really need to finish up here. It's kind of strange though when you think about it, like why are these droids holding these guys kind of hostage, just kind of standing up on these ledges? It doesn't really make sense. I mean, obviously, also like this is an example of. I suppose it kind of happened in the movie. You can kind of see in the end the Qui-Gon and this all a lot. They kind of there were a few droids, I suppose, holding some of these guys hostage. So I suppose it makes kind of sense, but it's just to illustrate that obviously they have to kind of how do I say this? They have to kind of invent or like create around the scenarios, I suppose. If that makes sense. Oh. Yeah. Oh, wow. Oh. I suppose, also one of the, I don't know, a major factor, I suppose, as to why kind of Lego Star Wars has. Where's Qui-Gon? Come on. What? Where is he? Is he stuck somewhere? What? Where is he? What? What are you doing here? I suppose that's because I think this game is pretty important to, or like it was probably one of the main reasons I kind of got introduced to Star Wars in the first place. I remember playing playing this on my friend's PlayStation, I think it was, or yeah. And then I got it for Christmas, and then yeah. What? I don't think this is going to work, is it? No. And probably the same with Indiana Jones, to be honest. I don't think I'd really, at least I hadn't really dedicatedly seen them, if that makes sense. I haven't really, I might have seen a bit of one, a bit of the first one or something on TV, but you know. Huh? Oh yeah. Okay, to be honest, I think I'll just end it there. I think I took a little more time than I anticipated. Yeah, I know I've been trying to do 2 levels per episode, but this, yeah. Okay, so I don't know, the next might be in, I don't know, tomorrow, not tomorrow, but I don't know, perhaps during the weekend, sometime. I'm not entirely sure. Okay, yeah, so I hope you enjoyed, and I hope I will see you later.